Last night my husband told me he resents me for making him choose between his dying mother and our daughter's wedding 3 years ago. And I'm realizing he might have never forgiven me even though at the time he said he understood. I'm 52 and my husband Greg is 54. Our daughter Emily got married 3 years ago in a destination wedding in Italy. She'd been planning it for over a year, had put down significant deposits, and the date was locked in. It was supposed to be a small family wedding, maybe 30 people total. And both Greg and I were deeply involved in helping her plan it. About 6 weeks before the wedding, Greg's mother had a major stroke. She was 81 and had been declining for a while, but this was sudden and severe. The doctor said she likely had weeks, maybe a couple months at most. She was moved to hospice care. Greg immediately said he wasn't sure he could go to Italy. I understood his conflict, but I also saw what it would do to Emily if her father missed her wedding. I told Greg his mother was being cared for by his siblings, that she was stable for the moment, and that Emily needed him at her wedding. Greg struggled with the decision for days. His sister was furious that he was even considering leaving. She said their mother was dying and a wedding could be rescheduled. I pointed out that Emily had dozens of guests traveling internationally and tens of thousands of dollars in non-refundable deposits. Greg ultimately decided to go to the wedding. We left for Italy 5 days before the ceremony. His mother died 2 days after we left, while we were mid-flight to Rome. Greg got the call from his brother when we landed. The look on his face is something I'll never forget. He said he needed to go home immediately. I said we were already there. The wedding was in 3 days, and Emily needed him. Greg said his mother had just died and he needed to be with his family. I made a choice in that moment that I've questioned ever since. I told Greg that if he left, Emily would never forgive him. That missing your only daughter's wedding to attend a funeral for someone who had already passed was different than missing the wedding to be there while she was alive. I said his mother would have wanted him to stay for Emily. Greg stayed. He walked Emily down the aisle. He gave a toast at the reception that made everyone cry. Emily had a beautiful wedding and has no idea how much her father was struggling through the entire thing. But Greg missed his mother's funeral. His siblings were at the funeral, grieving together, making arrangements, supporting each other. Greg was in Italy taking photos and pretending to be happy. For 3 years, we've never really talked about it. Greg said a few times that he'd made the choice he thought was right. I assumed we'd moved past it. Last night we were having dinner and something small set him off, I don't even remember what, and suddenly he was saying he'd resented me every day since Italy. He said I'd pressured him into abandoning his mother in her final days and made him miss saying goodbye to her body. He said every time he looks at Emily's wedding photos, he thinks about his mother dying alone. I said she wasn't alone. His siblings were there. Greg said I wasn't there, so I didn't understand. He said his sister still won't speak to him, and his brother barely does. He said I'd destroyed his relationship with his family because I cared more about a party than his mother. I told him it wasn't just a party, it was our daughter's wedding. Greg said I'd made him choose, and I'd made it impossible for him to choose his mother by threatening that Emily would hate him forever. I said I never threatened anything. I just told him the truth about what the consequences would be. Greg said that was the same thing. We haven't spoken much today. I keep going back to that moment in the Rome airport when I could have said, go home, be with your family, we'll figure out the wedding. But I didn't say that. I said, stay. Emily is happy, married, living her life with no idea her father's grief was the backdrop to her wedding day. Greg's family barely speaks to him, and I'm sitting here wondering if I made the wrong call 3 years ago, or if I'm just now being blamed for a choice he made himself. Am I the asshole?